There is no shortage of cryptocurrencies making the headlines. Technologies are constantly evolving, and if you are somebody interested in investing in cryptocurrencies, it can be a little overwhelming to decide which ones are actually worth investing in. So today I'm going to share with you my top 5 cryptocurrencies that you may want to consider investing in. You're not going to want to miss this. So on this channel, I've already made videos on the basics of Bitcoin and even the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you're completely new to cryptocurrency investing, I suggest going and checking out those videos after watching this one. But today I wanted to do a little deep dive into my top 5 cryptocurrencies. These are the only 5 I'm currently holding right now. And if you are interested in them, I'll also let you know where you can buy some. And hey, real quick, if you haven't already given this video a like, go ahead and hit that little thumbs up button. It means the world to me and really helps get this video out to more people, so thanks. So let's jump right in with the king of all cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper than I have in previous videos just to give you an idea of why Bitcoin is so popular. Launched all the way back in 2009, it has been around a bit longer than some of the other cryptocurrencies that I'm going to mention. Right now, it is viewed as an alternative currency to fiat or paper money, but it's also being used as a store of value, essentially digital gold. Now, I want to get this out of the way in the beginning of this video that all of these cryptocurrencies can be very volatile. Bitcoin, as I'm recording this, is currently massively down, but as I was planning the video, it was massively up. So you just need to know that that's going to happen in this market and be prepared for some of those risks. Now stick with me here because I've never talked about this term proof of work, and it might be a new concept, but stick with me. So Bitcoin is based on a system that requires proof of work. Essentially, all proof of work means is that Bitcoin's system requires some computing work to take place. Usually that takes about 10 minutes in order to make sure everything is validated and on the up and up. Another way to say that is that in order to keep like spammers or scammers out of this Bitcoin system, it takes about 10 minutes to do a transaction doing some complex computing work. Now, for modern computers, that's no big deal. You just let them do their thing. But 10 minutes is a long time, and some people are concerned that all these computers are using up way too much energy. And of course, as Bitcoin continues to grow, that computing power, that energy, and the environmental impact are things people are considering trying to maybe get away from a little bit more or keep more green. Therefore, in about a minute or so, when I'm talking about these other cryptocurrencies that use something called proof of stake, just know that that works a little bit differently than Bitcoin that uses proof of work. Now, before we move on from Bitcoin, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Why does Bitcoin have any value? Well, first off, there is a limited supply of Bitcoin. There's only 21 million that will ever be mined. So that scarcity, that supply and demand contributes to its value. But also, over the past few years, institutional investors, not retail investors, not the small guys like me or you, institutional investors, companies like PayPal, Square, they have been adding Bitcoin to their portfolios. In fact, it was in the news recently that there are multiple nations considering making Bitcoin an official currency. Therefore, it's reasonable to anticipate with a limited supply and this widespread adoption that's taking place over the course of a few years that Bitcoin's value will continue to rise. Let's move on to Ethereum. That's the second cryptocurrency in my wallet, and it works a little bit differently than Bitcoin. Currently, Ethereum is the largest open network software platform. Now, just to be clear, a software platform can be something like Facebook, Twitter, but Ether is open. That means that anybody can use it. It can be built upon, like you can build an app on top of it that works within that network. Therefore, Ether, the digital currency on the Ethereum platform, has become valuable, and it has risen in not only popularity, but also value. And that's pretty interesting. So basically that digital currency in the Ethereum network, it really wasn't supposed to be and isn't supposed to be an alternative currency. That's what like Bitcoin is. Rather, Ethereum is supposed to serve as payment and fees when you're doing transactions within the Ethereum platform. And again, all these transactions are public, they're decentralized, so they're not owned by a big company like a Facebook or a Twitter. Again, it is a wide open platform that anybody can use. Now again, pay close attention to this next part because Ethereum was actually built using that same proof of work model where you had to do some computing work in order to validate all these transactions. But there has been ongoing plans to move to something called proof of stake. Now, proof of stake is completely different because your ability to validate the transactions on this network all are tied to how many coins you have on the network. Again, think of security. If a scammer wanted to come in for pennies and screw everything up, it's not really possible. It is going to be investors who have large amounts of Ethereum on the Ethereum platform that can help use this proof of stake process. So yeah, as Ethereum moves towards proof of stake, the more coins somebody owns, the more stake they have, proof of stake, and that just means that they can do more mining or more validating of transactions. This is going to be a really exciting change for Ethereum, and I think that's why people are anticipating its growth. However, there are other competing cryptocurrencies to Ethereum, so let's dive into those. Cardano is the next cryptocurrency that I want to talk about, also known as ADA. Now, one of the co-founders of Ethereum is actually the founder of Cardano. And right now, ADA is positioning itself as the next generation of Ethereum. Now, two reasons why Cardano might have a competitive advantage over Ethereum is that, number one, there is a maximum supply of 45 billion ADA, and it is already using that proof of stake model that I spoke about earlier. So it uses much less energy than that proof of work model we talked about with Bitcoin, and in some ways it's a bit faster and less expensive to use right now than compared to Ethereum. And if you think about its limited supply overall, that scarcity could also contribute to its value. Really, the reason why I like Cardano is I feel like they have a little bit of a head start right now compared to where Ethereum is trying to get to. So if it is going to eventually come out as the winner, I guess that remains to be seen, but its volatility tracks just like any other cryptocurrency. So I mentioned before, Bitcoin's down as I'm recording, and so is Cardano. So if it's going to end up being something that people actually use and build other applications on, it remains to be seen, but it actually could be a competitor. My number 4 cryptocurrency is Algorand, also known as Algo. Now, in some ways, you can consider this the new kid on the block. It was created by an MIT professor back in 2019. Similar to Cardano, it's using that proof of stake model, but its goal is essentially instant transactions that can be verified on this open blockchain technology. So no 10 minutes waiting to validate a transaction. We're talking instant validation for a very small cost. There were only 10 billion algo created, and its goal is to be this super fast payment-centered system. And similar to Ethereum and Cardano, you can build apps on top of it. So if it's super fast and cheap to do so, I think those app developers might end up teaming up with Algo to create some of these apps. So with all three of the last 3 cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Cardano, Algo, in a way, it just remains to be seen who's going to come out ahead. They're all trying to solve similar problems, and essentially it's a race to see who can take up that market share, that market space. And number 5 of my top 5 cryptocurrencies is Stellar Lumens. Now, Stellar is a system for storing and moving money, and I can totally relate to a system like this and its need in our society. Here in the United States, there are multiple apps that solve this problem, but they don't do it internationally. For Venmo, I can't go and send money to somebody in Canada. If I want to use PayPal and I would send money to somebody over in Europe or South America, I get hit with a conversion fee and a fee for sending money internationally. So Stellar Lumens can help solve that problem by having borderless money transactions. The idea is the seamless transfer of funds using all forms of currency. It's a very ambitious goal to get all of the world's financial systems using one network, but you could see how quickly and easily people could process payments and sort of remove that middleman from having their hands on it and taking large fees or kind of keeping your money in transit for days on end. Essentially, if you have family in another country, state, you can send them money, you can pay a bill, you can move funds quickly without having to worry about carrying a bunch of money in a backpack or storing gold bars in a safe. Currently, there are about 50 billion lumens in existence. And the reason I hold it in my personal wallet is, again, when I hear about institutional investors, in this case, Stellar Lumens was partnering with Visa, like Visa, the card network. It just sparked my attention that there's going to be some sort of rollout of Stellar Lumens in a way that is paired with Visa, and Visa's already available internationally. It kind of gets me excited to see where this type of project is headed, so that's why I bought some. If you're interested in buying any of the 5 cryptocurrencies I talked about today, then I'll leave a link down below in the description to a few different exchanges you could use. I've mentioned these in the past. Some of them, if you haven't signed up with before, give you like some free Bitcoin when you deposit a little bit of money. So check them out if you're interested. A couple of the key takeaways: there are other cryptocurrencies that are interesting and fun to talk about. I have a list right in front of me that I would love to discuss. So if this video gets something like 1,000 likes, then I'll dive into the ones that I don't own, but are basically numbers 6 through 10 for me. If you are someone just dipping their toe in the water of cryptocurrency investing, I do suggest checking out some of my other blog posts and videos that are available on my website. I kind of go over the basics of things like Bitcoin or Ethereum in a little bit more detail, how to buy some, how to store some. Of course, it's always a good idea to get the rest of your financial house in order too. This is fun stuff to talk about, but obviously you should probably be paying down high interest credit card debt, making sure you got the lights on, food on the table. I know that sort of goes without saying, but I always like to say it anyway. So let me know down in the comments your top 5 cryptocurrencies. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.